Good morning, metalheads of the internet, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Metal Meltdown. Today we are talking about a brand new studio album from Caligula's Horse entitled Charcoal Grace. This is the 6th full-length studio album from this Australian progressive metal crew. They've been kicking around for just about 13 years now, having formed in 2011. Despite that, I can very honestly say I'm not very familiar with their output whatsoever. Now, I do remember quite a few people, including friend of the channel and frequent collaborator The Metal Tempest, hyping up their previous studio album, Rise Radiant, when it was released back in May of 2020. But that really is as far as my knowledge of and experience with Caligula's Horse goes. You probably could have told me a week and a half ago that these guys were completely brand new to the scene, and I might have believed you, I'm not gonna lie. With this in mind, I didn't really know what to expect going into Charcoal Grace. All I knew is that after Clandestine Transcendence from Lord Dying, I was in the mood and still hungry for some epic modern prog metal goodness. No disrespect to that album, because it's a great album and you should definitely check that out if you have not already, but I'm still hungry, goddammit! It's like that feeling you have when a movie ends and you know there's a sequel on the way, and you're just like, God damn it, just play the fucking sequel already. Like, how fucking dare you, Sony? How dare you drop Across the Spider-Verse and you make me feel that way, and then you tell me I have to wait well over a year for Beyond the Spider-Verse. Fuck you. Alright, I'm getting slightly off topic. Look, the point is, I wanted prog metal, Caligula's Horse gave me prog metal, and I gotta say, this was some good, tasty, hearty, nutritious prog metal. Multiple massive songs filled with sweeping, gorgeous orchestration, emotive licks and melodies and passionate guitar solos. It's clean, it's slick, it's big, it's bold, it's cinematic, dare I say, triumphant at times. And it often reminds me musically of a lot of other great works from other modern progressive metal bands like Haken, Between the Buried and Me, The Ocean. Bits and pieces here and there also remind me of Opeth and Dream Theater. The opening number especially, The World Breathes With Me, feels like a moodier take on like a big like Dream Theater prog metal opus. The concept of the record, too, brings in a lot of emotional weight and urgency, inspired primarily by thoughts and feelings and experiences that Caligula's Horse and their friends and families had during COVID-19. As this press release writes, Charcoal Grace is born of the static hopelessness that the pandemic forced upon the band and indeed much of the world these past few years. It is an album reckoning with experiences and outcomes of this time, geared ultimately towards catharsis, moving towards a more hopeful future. And I gotta say, right off the bat, the album's ability to re-tap into these feelings of anxiety and alienation and dread and fear without being a total fucking bummer is honestly kind of spectacular. Like, yeah, sure, totally, this album was put together during a very difficult and not so great period of human history, and it absolutely is aware of that. It practically marinates in that knowledge like a stupid, happy little piece of meat. But it's still filled with genuine hope and optimism. And even when it descends into these darker depths, it does so respectfully and tastefully, like the darkness feels earned. The track Gollum, for instance, does a great job at expressing some of the mental stress and pain of the pandemic through these more erratic vocal outbursts and these like really tight, funky prog metal rhythms. It's sharp and cutthroat with some genuinely brutal moments and some really technical, jagged songcraft all through. Then there's the album's multifaceted closing number, Mute, which is filled with soaring vocal and guitar work, lots of fantastic cathartic riffage here. I like some of those old school prog rock influences kind of woven in as well. Like there's some guitar passages and even some woodwinds, some flutes that wouldn't be out of place on like an old Jethro Tull or Genesis record. Then there's Sails, which is certainly still a very spirited number, but also somewhat more laid back. For the most part, gliding gently on these soft, dreamy, multi-layered vocal hooks and melodies, and these more atmospheric textures. Been a long time since I went sailing, and I don't know what the meaning of life is, but if I went sailing and on said voyage learned what the meaning of life is, I feel like the song Sails would encapsulate all of that quite nicely. And then there's the absolutely massive title track, which itself is split into 4 parts, each one more action-packed and dynamic than the last. Acoustic sections, orchestral sections, full-on modern prog metal bombast and spectacle everywhere. Like, we could probably sit here and dissect and analyze the title track as if it were its own mini album, as if it were its own EP, as if it were its own individual thing being released separate from the rest of Charcoal Grace. Like, if you're the type of person that proudly calls themselves a prog metal nerd, this is the kind of shit you dream about right here. You will be feasting upon this for days as if you're at a Las Vegas buffet with a bottomless gut. Enjoy, pal. This is very clearly something that Caligula's Horse have been working on night and day since Rise Radiant dropped. It shows in the production of the record, which is extremely clean and extremely well polished, and everything is so well balanced and mixed. It shows in the incredibly technical and evocative and powerful songcraft. It shows in the amazing A+ vocal work. If you're really wanting to nitpick, I suppose this isn't really doing anything brand new within the grand scheme of, like, modern progressive metal. If you're familiar with the aforementioned Haken in Between the Buried and Me and the Ocean and Dream Theater, then you kind of already know what to expect here. But it's just so well done. It's so satisfying. It's so powerful. It's so cathartic. And honestly, I feel like Caligula's Horse have enough little unique sonic nuggets of madness scattered across the album to differentiate it from albums from those bands. Like, it's definitely influenced by that stuff, but it is by no means a derivative or a clone. I'm feeling a very strong 4 to 5. I think this is a great record. If, like me, you left that Lord Dying record going, damn, that was great, I want more prog metal now, boom, congratulations, you're welcome. I can't really comment on where this might stand in the Caligula's Horse discography, but if their other stuff is even half as good as this, then I'm definitely going to want to check it out real soon. I think that prog rock and prog metal nerds and fans and connoisseurs, generally speaking, will be extremely happy with this. Once again, 4 to 5. A great record. I'm going to have to start paying way more attention to Caligula's Horse in the future. Straight the fuck up. And that is it for the Metal Meltdown. I'm not an expert, nor do I claim to be. So what do you think? Do you like this record? Do you not like this record? And what do you want to hear from me next? And thank you for watching. Make sure you press subscribe right here so you get updates on the Metal Meltdown fucking immediately. And as always, you have yourself a fantastic fucking day.